in the Diddy trial. So Cassie stated that Britney Spears was present at her 21st birthday party in 2007, which just so happened to be the night before the 2007 VMAs.
So you're saying give Britney a break?
Give Britney or any woman or children, you're supposed to have rules to the game. There's supposed to be, there gotta be rules to the game, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And don't put nobody in danger driving, you know?
Late Friday night, Britney hit 3 hotspots and was snapped at Caesar's Palace at Pure nightclub with P. Diddy.
One of the captors of the permanent A-list quote-unquote singer just keeps getting drawn deeper and deeper into the troubles of the producer/wannabe rapper. Now she was the paymaster for the SEX trafficking? And again, this is allegedly Robin Greenhill, Britney Spears, and Sean Diddy Combs.
Baby, Cassie just detonated a bombshell in that courtroom, and guess who she pulled into the explosion? Britney freaking Spears. Yes, you heard that right. During her gut-wrenching testimony against Diddy, Cassie name-dropped the Princess of Pop and brought up that infamous 2007 party, the one that still sends chills down every fan's spine. That was the night Britney was allegedly given a mystery substance. And then, the next day, boom, the whole world watched as she struggled through the now infamous MTV VMA performance. But honey, it wasn't just a flop. No. Sources say it was a final humiliation ritual designed to trigger her public collapse. And it worked. And guess who was behind the curtain pulling the strings? Allegedly, Britney's own management team, Lou Taylor and Robin Greenhill, who, believe it or not, asked Diddy to assist them in breaking Britney down, stripping her of her autonomy, and turning her into a puppet under their thumb. And Diddy, word is, he wasn't just a willing participant, he was their go-to guy for illegal substances used to control Hollywood's brightest stars. Their words, keep the assets in line. Disgusting, but wait, it gets darker. Sources close to Britney's legal team have confirmed that Britney tried to expose all of this. She tried to warn Cassie, she tried to speak her truth. But what did they do? They shut her down, not just legally, but mentally. They allegedly pumped her with more substances, played mind games, and used psychological manipulation to erase her memories. And guess what? Britney's own lawyer just revealed she believes the exact same thing happened to Wendy Williams. Yup. This rabbit hole goes deep. According to insiders, there's an entire secret network in Hollywood, a mind control machine built to break silence and discard stars once they stop playing nice. The ones who speak out, label them crazy. Done. Just like that. But honey, buckle up, because we're just getting started.
You believe that Britney was next to Diddy and
Absolutely. Absolutely. All of those girls, all of those Mickey Mouse girls, including Christina Aguilera, all of these children have been big. Part of the reason why they can't tell you is because they were drugged.
Yep.
Most of what was happening to them was happening. And what they have left are the memories and the nightmares.
So here's how it all came flooding back to the surface. Cassie, while detailing her trauma, mentioned that night in September 2007, her birthday bash in Vegas. Diddy showed up, and guess who else was there? Britney. Cassie testified that Diddy suddenly kissed her that night. Out of nowhere, no warning, even though he was still publicly with Kim Porter. And let's not forget, Cassie was dating Ryan Leslie back then. Ryan was at the same party, and the awkwardness through the roof. A photo from that night was even submitted into court. Diddy, Cassie, Britney, and music producer Dallas Austin all together. But what looked like just another industry party was, according to sources, the beginning of the end for Britney. Because that was allegedly the night Diddy slipped something into her drink. And what followed? A catastrophic spiral, one that ended in her being locked in a conservatorship that controlled every second of her life for more than 13 years. She even told the court in 2021, her own words, baby, that she was forced onto lithium, a substance so strong it left her unable to speak, to think, to hold a conversation. They broke her on purpose.
When I said no to one dance move into rehearsals, it was as if I planted a huge bomb somewhere. And I said, no, I don't want to do it this way. After that, my management and my dancers and my assistant of the new people that were supposed to do the new show all went into a room, shut the door, and didn't come out for at least 45 minutes. Ma'am, I'm not here to be anyone's slave. I can say no to a dance move. I was told by my, at the time, therapist, Dr. Benson, who died, that my manager called him in that moment and told him I wasn't cooperating or following the guidelines in rehearsals. And he also said I wasn't taking my medication, which is so dumb because I've had the same lady every morning for the past 8 years give me my same medication. They're gonna come back and be mean to me or punish me or something. 3 days later, after I said no to Vegas, my therapist sat me down in a room and said he had a million phone calls about how I was not cooperating in rehearsals and I haven't been taking my medication. All of this was false. He immediately the next day put me on lithium out of nowhere. He took me off my normal meds I'd been on for 5 years. And lithium is a very, very strong and completely different medication compared to what I was used to. You can go mentally impaired if you take too much, if you stay on it longer than 5 months. But he put me on that and I felt drunk. I really couldn't even take up for myself. I couldn't even have a conversation with my mom or dad really about anything. I told them I was scared and my doctor had me on 6 different nurses with this new medication come to my home, stay with me, to monitor me on this new medication, which I never wanted to be on to begin with.
And if you think this story is just about Britney, think again. Because Britney, she's not the only one. Wendy Williams, Kanye West, the list goes on. All stars who were once celebrated until they started speaking out. Then suddenly, they're labeled crazy, mentally unstable, unfit, same blueprint, same tactics, same silence.
When I asked them, how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly? It took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears too. I mean, look.
They would have Michael Jackson
or worse.
People are starting to ask, are we looking at a full-on mind control program in Hollywood? A system where celebs are drugged, gaslit, and manipulated into compliance, all to protect the interests of handlers, execs, and management firms that treat human beings like business investments? The rumor that Diddy drugged Britney before the 2007 VMAs, it's no longer just a whisper, it's a howl. So let's rewind. New Year's Eve 2006. Britney's hosting a party at Pure nightclub in Vegas. But barely after midnight, she collapses, dead. Wait, had to be carried out of the club.
So bringing the news with you boys and girls, here tonight, Miss Britney Spears!
I am too. You guys gotta look at the television. It's 27 seconds. Just remember, what happens in Vegas always stays.
And the press, they went wild. TMZ said Britney was wasted, champagne, drunk, passed out, but her then manager, Larry Rudolph, tried to do damage control. She was just tired. She wasn't drunk, she fell asleep. But eyewitnesses tell a different story. They say Britney suddenly stood up, then collapsed straight to the floor. One person even said it looked like she was being dragged, not walking. There was panic. Someone in her entourage screamed, no photos, but the damage was done. Photos leaked. And Britney, she looked gone, like her light had been dimmed. To this day, fans call that night the true beginning of her nightmare. Soon after, she was bounced around from one shady treatment center to another. But Britney, smart as ever, knew something wasn't right. She refused to stay at the rehabs they picked for her. She knew her team was plotting. In early 2007, Britney wrote letters to her fans. She said she was feeling strange, getting symptoms she couldn't explain. Because she wasn't drinking, she wasn't taking anything, something was being done to her. She even wrote, I feel like they knew I was beginning to use my brain for a change, so they wanted more control over my life than me. And that's when it started. Being drugged regularly, behavior shifting, the media mocking her every move, and the world ate it up. So now we're in the chaos of early 2007. Britney's mental health is spiraling, but not naturally, no ma'am. Her team was feeding her substances behind her back, and sometimes by force. Her behavior, erratic. But now we know it wasn't Britney losing control, it was them taking control. The media spun it all. Every headline screamed, Britney's gone mad, Britney's lost it. But what they never showed you was who was behind the scenes pulling every string. Tabloids became weapons, and the public turned against her. During this time, she began spending a lot of time with producer J.R. Rotem. You know, the one who worked with Destiny's Child, Rihanna, and even Kevin Federline? Yup, that J.R. They were photographed together constantly, and rumors swirled they were dating. But let's be real, with everything we know now, J.R. was probably a handler, planted, watching, keeping her within reach, making sure Britney stayed on script, their script. And then came the VMAs.
Was it around that time you and Britney Spears were working together?
Yeah, right after that.
And did that turn into like a relationship?
I wouldn't call it an actual relationship. If I'm being just 100% real, like, look, I'm coming from just being a nerdy pianist, making beats, all of a sudden being in demand, like all this kind of stuff, being around celebrities. And like, look, I was single. She was, this was like a kind of a weird, this was not like in the toxic era. This was like after.
Well, she was coming out of her divorce with Kevin Federline.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, she was.
Now,
that era.
Didn't you also produce Kevin Federline?
So I was around like both of them at the time.
Now buckle up, because this was the moment the world really started questioning what was going on with Britney. The 2007 VMAs were hyped as her big comeback. Everyone was watching. The stakes were massive, but what happened on that stage was heartbreaking. Britney came out in a sparkly black outfit, looking lost, dazed, disoriented. She barely danced. She lip-synced off beat. Her hair was messy, makeup smudged. The whole performance a train wreck, but now we know why. Because the night before, Britney was partying. First with magician Chris Angel, then at a birthday bash, Cassie's birthday bash thrown by Diddy. Yep, he was right there. The same man Cassie just accused of slipping something into Britney's drink that night. It all adds up. And here's where it gets disturbing. That performance was a setup, a public breakdown, a globally televised humiliation ritual, and right after that, her life spiraled fast. A judge ordered random drug and alcohol testing. She started losing custody of her kids. By February 2008, she was legally stripped of her freedom and placed under a conservatorship that would last for 13 soul-crushing years. And it didn't stop there. Days after the VMA's disaster, her management firm dropped her cold. And guess who stepped in like a vulture circling roadkill? Lou Taylor. Lou Taylor of TriStar Entertainment, the woman now infamous for orchestrating Britney's conservatorship. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a plan, a twisted, sick, coordinated takedown.
What they don't know about Jamie and Lynn Spears is that every day Jamie goes to work as a professional chef, asking the Lord to give him the strength to honor the people he works for in the midst of circumstances. That Lynn Spears is a mother that is brokenhearted just because she's apart from her daughter, that she loves her daughter so much. So really, for me to be self-indulgent for a moment, that I would really hope that all those who seek God for strength in their life would be interceding for this family, because Jamie Spears, Lynn Spears, Brian, and Jamie Lynn Spears are all amazing people.
And according to insiders, Lou didn't just walk into Britney's life, she was ushered in. And who helped her? Diddy. Apparently, Lou and Diddy go way back to the early days at Uptown Records. She even managed him at one point. So when Britney's team needed a scapegoat, someone to help ruin her image, someone to drug her, who did Lou allegedly call?
Diddy.
It was all part of the long game. Lou had been working for years behind the scenes, and once she had Britney in her web, she brought in her right-hand woman, Robin Greenhill. Now let me tell you about Robin. Robin wasn't just working at TriStar, she was in the room. Britney's ex-security guard, Alex Vlasov, spilled the tea. Robin was in a group chat with Britney's dad and the head of Black Box Security, spying on Britney around the clock. We're talking full surveillance, even in her own home, even in her most private moments. They tracked her text, her calls, her internet searches, even her intimate photos. They mirrored her iCloud onto an iPad, literally created a live feed of her entire digital life. Who does that to someone they claim to care about? Oh, and it doesn't stop there. Robin also kept tabs on every man Britney dated. They followed them, looked for dirt, tracked their behavior. Why? Because anyone who could make Britney feel human again was a threat. And guess what? Robin wasn't just Britney's handler. According to Lil Rod's lawsuit, she worked for Diddy too. Yes, the same Robin Greenhill was Diddy's accountant, the woman who allegedly wired payments to silence ex-workers. Coincidence, please? This was a machine, a corporate machine of silence, surveillance, and manipulation. And Britney was their prisoner. Let's call it what it is. Hollywood has a network of handlers, baby. People who pose as managers, stylists, producers, accountants, but their real job? Keep the stars broken. quiet, obedient. If you step out of line, like Britney, Kanye, Wendy, they ruin your name, they isolate you, they slap a crazy label on your forehead and lock the door behind you. And now, with Diddy's name popping up in all these dark places, Cassie's lawsuit, Britney's story, the windy rumors, it's getting too loud to ignore. Is Diddy really the kingpin of this mind control network, or just another pawn in a larger Hollywood horror story? Either way, Britney's not staying silent anymore. She's backing Cassie, she's talking, and baby, the world is finally listening.